Each morning I trained not just my body, but my mind. Before the world could shape me, I shaped myself. I did not leave my discipline to chance. I created it the moment I opened my eyes. Most people wake up and drift. They scroll, they delay, they react. But I used the silence of the morning to sharpen my thinking. I built focus before the world offered distractions. I controlled my breath before chaos had a chance to enter. Discipline begins in the shadows. It begins when no one is watching. You must learn to win the morning before you can win the day. That's how I became strong, not just in body, but in mind. And if you want the same strength, then listen closely. I will show you how. You don't need to announce your strength, just build it quietly. Don't chase attention, it is empty. While others speak loudly, trying to be seen, you must go inward. Focus, train, sharpen yourself in silence. The world will always be drawn to noise. But remember, real power moves without a sound. I never needed the crowd to clap for me. I needed my discipline to speak for me. So build yourself quietly. Let your growth speak. Let your calm intimidate. Let your presence carry the message. Because when you've done the work, you won't have to explain anything. You will simply arrive, and they will feel it. Most people want attention while they're still growing. They show their goals before they've earned them. But true strength is built quietly. You must train in silence, not to hide, but to focus. When no one is watching, there's no pressure to perform, only space to improve. Growth is slow, personal, and often invisible. But when you evolve in shadows, you become so solid that the world can't shake you. Let them wonder where you've been. Then let your results speak louder than any words. Real power doesn't grow in front of crowds. It grows in silence, when you're alone, when no one is clapping, when no one is cheering you on. That's when your true strength is built. Because the effort you give when no one is watching shows your real character. Anyone can work hard when the spotlight is on, but only the disciplined push forward in the dark. Your private victories create your public results. So don't seek attention, seek growth. That's where real power lives. You don't need an audience to become who you're meant to be. In fact, you find your true self when no one's around. That's when you stop pretending, stop performing, and start facing who you really are. Use that quiet time to ask deep questions. What do I stand for? What do I believe in? What am I willing to fight for? This is how you sharpen your identity, not for likes, not for approval, but for truth. Because when you know yourself deeply, no one can shake you, not even the world. You don't need to announce your every step. People often waste energy telling others what they're going to do instead of doing it. But the wise stay quiet. They move with focus, not noise. When you stop talking about your plans and start acting on them, your results will speak louder than anything you could ever say. Let your work introduce you. Loud promises fade fast. Quiet actions last. When you move in silence, you remove pressure, judgment, and the need to perform. You do it for you, not for attention. And that's where the real growth happens. The stronger you become, the less you need approval. The world doesn't need a warning. It needs to feel your presence. The greatest victories are often invisible until they're undeniable. You don't see a tree growing, but one day it stands tall and unshakable. You don't need to show every grind, every sacrifice. Just stay focused. Let others think you've disappeared. When you return, they'll realize you were building something too powerful to ignore. Announcing your moves gives others the power to doubt you, delay you, or discourage you. But when you keep quiet, you protect your momentum. You don't give people a chance to pull you off your path. Silence keeps your focus sharp and your energy clean. Every step forward becomes a surprise to those who never saw it coming. Noise often comes from insecurity. People shout about their plans because they don't fully believe in them yet. But the one who moves in silence has nothing to prove. They trust their work. They know that progress is personal, and noise only slows it down. Quiet confidence is a weapon few understand but all respect. You don't need applause to validate your direction. Every time you make progress without announcing it, you build a mindset that values truth over show. You stay locked in, untouched by distractions or praise, and when the results arrive, they carry more weight, because they came without warning, without hype, only through discipline. Be like water. Flow where you need to go without drawing attention. Water doesn't boast, yet it shapes mountains. Your quiet effort will shape your world if you remain consistent. Don't focus on being seen. Focus on being ready, so when the moment comes, you're already there, prepared and powerful. Let others talk. Let them post. Let them shout. You stay focused. Let your silence confuse them. Let your results humble them. Power doesn't need a microphone. It needs direction. And when you walk with clarity, the noise around you becomes irrelevant. Stay steady. The storm will pass. You will remain. Moving without announcement is freedom. You're not held back by the pressure of expectations. You can change, improve, and evolve without permission. And when you win without noise, the victory feels cleaner, because it was earned in truth, not performance. No one handed it to you. You took it. The strongest warriors are quiet before the battle and calm after the win. That silence is not weakness, it's awareness. They know noise invites distraction, but focus invites results. Be like them. Work in silence, strike with precision, and keep your peace even when you succeed. That's what separates power from pride. In a world addicted to attention, silence becomes rare and powerful. When you stop announcing every move, you become unpredictable. People can't copy what they can't see. That mystery adds strength to your presence. Build in silence, and by the time they notice, you'll already be 10 steps ahead. Don't chase credit. Chase mastery. Real winners don't need to be told they've arrived. They feel it. They live it. They own it. So stop explaining. Stop proving. Just become. The most powerful statement you can make is showing up transformed, without warning, without noise, and without apology. Real confidence doesn't scream. It whispers through action. You don't need to tell the world how capable you are. You just need to move like you know it. The loudest ones in the room often doubt themselves the most. But the one who's calm, steady, and silent holds a different kind of power, unshakable, because it doesn't rely on applause. Confidence isn't about being noticed, it's about being unbothered. You walk into a room not to be seen, but because you belong there. You don't chase approval, you don't shrink or shout. You stay grounded, focused, and in control. That's the kind of presence that doesn't ask for attention. It earns respect without saying a word. You don't need to prove who you are when you already believe it. External validation becomes meaningless when you've done the internal work. Confidence is built in private, through effort, through pain, through repetition. Once it's solid, no one can shake it, because it wasn't built on being liked. It was built on being prepared. True confidence doesn't demand eyes. It commands energy. People feel your strength before you speak. They sense your stillness, your clarity, your purpose. There's nothing louder than someone who doesn't need to convince you of anything. That's power. That's mastery. That's what quiet confidence looks like. You don't have to post it to prove it. You don't have to say it to show it. Confidence doesn't need a stage. It needs consistency. Every day you choose effort over ego, you sharpen that quiet power inside you. And when it's time to perform, you don't shake, you rise. Because you've built something deeper than image. A truly confident person lets others talk, brag, and boast. They stay still. They listen. They learn. They know that words are easy, but proof takes time. So while others try to impress, you continue to improve. That's how you win quietly. That's how confidence becomes unshakable. You don't need to be loud to be powerful. Think of fire. It doesn't shout, but it burns everything it touches. The same goes for you. Let your presence be felt, not forced. Let your confidence show in how you carry yourself, how you breathe under pressure, and how you don't flinch when the world tries to shake you. Don't confuse attention with power. Many chase the spotlight because they fear being forgotten. But you chase growth. You chase mastery. That's what makes your confidence dangerous. It's not for show. It's for war. And when the time comes, your quiet strength will say everything without saying anything. The most confident people often say the least. Why? Because they're not trying to impress you. They're trying to improve themselves. Their silence isn't emptiness. It's intention. Their calm isn't weakness. It's control. Every word they speak is sharp because it comes from certainty, not insecurity. Confidence means trusting yourself when no one claps. It's knowing your worth when no one's watching. Most people only feel strong when praised, but you must learn to stand tall without applause. That's when your power becomes internal. That's when you become unshakable, not because of them, but because of you. The need to be seen fades when you've seen yourself clearly. You stop trying to convince others because you no longer doubt your path. Confidence becomes a quiet fire inside, driving you forward, keeping you steady, and protecting you from the noise of the world. You don't need to be loud. You just need to be real. The world is full of noise, but confidence is calm. It doesn't fight for space. It creates its own. So build your strength without shouting. Trust your growth without showing off. And let your peace speak louder than your pride. Because when your confidence is real, it never needs to demand attention. It draws it without effort. You are your most important project. Every moment you invest in your growth is an act of self-respect. Don't treat your improvement like a casual task. Treat it like a sacred duty. Your body, your mind, your character, they are temples. Train them with care, discipline, and deep focus. Because how you build yourself is how you face the world. When you see yourself as sacred, you stop wasting time on nonsense. You guard your energy. You become selective with your thoughts, your habits, and your environment. You stop chasing what distracts you and start honoring what strengthens you. That shift makes every small improvement feel meaningful. You're not just changing, you're evolving. Most people fix things when they're broken. But when you treat yourself like something sacred, you grow before the cracks appear. You sharpen your focus. You strengthen your habits. You build your mindset like a warrior prepares his sword. Every act of discipline becomes a form of worship for the person you're becoming. Self-work is not something you do when it's convenient. It's something you commit to even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. When you honor yourself, you show up daily. No excuses, no shortcuts. That daily devotion turns effort into excellence. You don't wait for motivation. You become the reason. Treat your morning like a ritual. How you begin your day reflects how much you value your growth. Don't scroll. Breathe. Don't rush. Reflect. Center your mind before you enter the world. This isn't just routine. This is sacred preparation. Every small practice builds the foundation of your future self. You're not just here to exist, you're here to elevate. And that requires reverence for the process. When you work on yourself with intention, you walk taller. You speak with clarity. You carry a different kind of energy. One that doesn't need to prove itself because it's rooted in self-respect. Think of every workout, every journal entry, every hour of silence as a sacred offering to your growth. You are sculpting yourself mentally, physically, spiritually. And when it feels boring or slow, remember, sacred things are not rushed. They are built with patience, love, and unshakable intention. When you treat your inner world with care, your outer world changes. You speak differently. You react with control. You see problems as lessons, not punishments. This mindset is not built by accident. It's built by honoring yourself enough to keep showing up, even when no one notices. Most people abandon themselves when life gets loud. But when you work on yourself like it's sacred, you stay grounded. You pause instead of panic. You think instead of react. You trust the work you've done, even when chaos surrounds you. Because you've built something too strong to shake. Sacred doesn't mean perfect. It means intentional. It means you don't let weakness slide. You correct it. You don't let bad habits settle. You break them. You stop being casual with things that shape your life. You give your best, not because you're forced to, but because you respect yourself that much. Treating your growth as sacred means you stop comparing. You're no longer here to beat others. You're here to beat yesterday's version of yourself. Your journey becomes personal, private, pure. You don't grow for attention. You grow because you were meant for more, and you know it deep within. At the end of the day, your peace, your strength, your clarity, they come from how deeply you've honored yourself. So guard your time, master your mind, build your habits with care, and remember, when you work on yourself like it's sacred, you won't need to prove your power. You'll become it. Repetition is not punishment. It is power. The strongest people didn't get there by doing something once. They repeated it until it became a part of them. Every rep, every routine, every disciplined moment builds strength you can't fake. Steel doesn't form with one strike. It takes constant pressure, heat, and time. Mastery lives in the boring. It's not always exciting or flashy. It's showing up on days you don't feel like it. It's doing what works, over and over, without looking for shortcuts. Repetition is what turns effort into instinct. When it's repeated enough, it becomes who you are, not just what you do. Most people quit because it feels slow, but steel is forged in silence. Real transformation doesn't make noise, it makes results. Repetition trains your body, but it also sharpens your mind. It teaches patience. It builds belief. Each day you repeat something powerful. You're telling yourself, I'm serious about my growth. You don't rise to your goals. You fall to your training. And training is repetition. When pressure comes, it's not motivation that saves you. It's what you've practiced 1,000 times. Repetition becomes your reflex. And in the chaos, your habits will either protect you or break you. Think of repetition like sharpening a blade. One swipe won't do it. But steady, focused motion will. Each repetition is a stroke against weakness, a cut through doubt. The more you repeat, the sharper you get. Until one day you're no longer trying to be strong. You become sharp without even thinking about it. Anyone can do something once. But strength is in doing it again when no one is watching. Again when it hurts. Again when it's boring. Repetition builds endurance. Not just physically, but mentally. It shows you that progress is earned through consistency, not talent. Steel doesn't complain. It holds its form under pressure. You become what you repeat. If you repeat discipline, you become focused. If you repeat excuses, you become fragile. Every habit you perform is shaping your identity. Repetition isn't just about routines. It's about rewriting who you are. Brick by brick, rep by rep, you are building a fortress within. Repetition removes fear. The more you do something, the less it controls you. The unknown becomes familiar. the challenge becomes manageable. Confidence is not magic. It's memory. And the more you repeat strength, the more your mind accepts it as your new default. That's how warriors are built. You'll be tempted to switch paths when progress feels slow. But those who stay consistent eventually break through walls others never reach. Repetition is what separates those who dabble from those who dominate. The ones who stay the course, even when it's hard, come out unbreakable. The enemy of repetition is ego. Your ego wants something new, something easy. But your future wants something solid. Repetition humbles you. It reminds you that greatness is not made overnight. It's hammered out through sweat, through effort, and through relentless focus. When you repeat something long enough, it becomes quiet strength. You don't need to think, you just act. You don't hesitate, you execute. That's the power of muscle memory and mental conditioning. Repetition creates a rhythm, and that rhythm becomes your foundation when everything else falls apart. So keep repeating the work, repeat the discipline, repeat the commitment. Let it burn into your bones. Let it shape your mindset. And one day, you'll realize you don't just practice strength anymore. You are strength. Because repetition didn't just build you, it forged you into steel. Humility is not weakness, it's hidden strength. When you're humble, you don't need to prove anything to anyone. You're too focused on growth to waste time on ego. A humble person listens more, learns faster, and moves quieter. That silence, it's not emptiness, it's power under control. The more humble you become, the stronger you stay. Ego wants to be praised. Humility wants to improve. And when you choose humility, you stop chasing status and start chasing skill. You don't need validation, you need growth. Every time you choose to stay grounded instead of showing off, you build deeper roots. And the deeper your roots, the stronger your rise. The loudest people in the room often lack confidence, but the one who moves with humility carries quiet dominance. They know their value without needing applause. They don't boast because they're building. They don't shout because they're focused. Humility lets you walk tall without ever raising your voice. Humility sharpens your mind. It keeps you open. You admit you don't know everything, which means you're always learning. Arrogance closes doors. Humility opens them. You see lessons where others see threats. You take feedback instead of offense. That's how you get better when others stay stuck. You don't need to be the center of attention to be powerful. In fact, the strongest minds often stay behind the scenes, mastering their craft. Humility allows you to disappear into your work. While others chase recognition, you chase results. And when your time comes, your work will speak louder than your words. Being humble doesn't mean being silent. It means being selective. You speak when it matters, not when it's easy. You don't fight to be heard. You listen to understand. That makes your words sharper, your presence stronger, and your wisdom deeper. Humility makes every action more powerful. Ego rushes. Humility builds. Ego wants instant results. Humility trusts the process. Every time you choose patience over pride, you stretch your capacity. You stop comparing and start improving. You move with clarity, not pressure. That's what makes humility not just noble, but powerful. A humble person never underestimates others and never overestimates themselves. That balance keeps them aware, grounded, and sharp. They give credit, accept responsibility, and seek growth even when they're winning. That's rare. That's dangerous, because it means they're never satisfied and always rising. Humility protects your energy. You don't waste it trying to outshine others. You use it to outgrow your past self. No jealousy, no envy, just progress. That mindset keeps your vision clean and your direction clear. You move with purpose, not pride. When you're humble, losses don't destroy you. You see them as teachers. You don't crumble under failure. You extract wisdom from it. That's the difference between a fragile ego and a powerful spirit. Humility doesn't protect you from pain, but it helps you rise from it stronger. True humility creates discipline. It reminds you that you haven't arrived, that you're still building. No matter how far you've come, there's more to master. That's what keeps you sharp. Humility doesn't let you relax. It reminds you that comfort is a trap, and growth is forever. So stay low, but think high. Work in silence, but dream boldly. Let your humility be your edge in a noisy world. Because when you don't need to prove anything, you move differently. And when humility becomes your superpower, your progress becomes unstoppable. Focus is your sword. Keep it sharp. Be ruthless in protecting your time, your attention, and your energy. The world will try to distract you with noise, drama, and endless demands. You must learn to say no without guilt. Guard your focus like your life depends on it, because your future does. But never forget, how you carry yourself should still reflect peace. You don't need to push people away to stay locked in. You just need boundaries. Be gentle with your presence, calm, respectful, kind, but fierce with your purpose. Not everything deserves your reaction. Not everyone deserves your time. Stay focused, stay kind, and let people feel your discipline through your consistency, not your harshness. The most powerful people don't move with tension, they move with grace. But behind that grace is laser focus. It's not about being cold, it's about being clear. You can be fully present, respectful, and calm with others, while still protecting your mission like a warrior. Focus is internal. Your presence is how you share peace, not how you sacrifice it. Distractions will come dressed as opportunities. People will try to pull your attention, your kindness, and your energy into places that don't serve you. That's why focus must be brutal. But your presence, that's your leadership. Be firm, not rude. Be focused, not distant. Show them strength with silence, not with sharpness. A focused person doesn't chase everything. They choose carefully. That makes them look calm, almost quiet. But don't mistake their peace for passivity. Behind the scenes, they're locked in. They know where they're going, and every step has purpose. Their gentle presence isn't weakness. It's confidence that doesn't need to shout. Being ruthless with your focus means you stop explaining your every move. You don't need to justify your discipline. You just act. But how you carry that discipline should be soft enough to uplift others, not crush them. Move like a storm when needed, but walk like the wind when possible. Gentleness is power under control. You can be the most focused person in the room and still make others feel seen and heard. It's not about cutting people off. It's about cutting off distractions. Let your presence bring peace, not pressure. Let your focus build results, not resistance. You don't need to become harsh to become serious. Let your work speak for your intensity. Let your eyes reflect clarity, not stress. Ruthless focus is quiet. It doesn't flinch, doesn't react. It simply flows in one direction. And the gentleness in your presence reminds others. You're in control, not chaos. People will test your peace. They'll push for a reaction, for attention, for validation. But when your focus is strong, you won't bend. You'll move with silence, with purpose, and with a heart that doesn't need revenge. Being focused doesn't mean being cold. It means being unshakable. Let your presence be a place of calm. You don't need to prove your strength through force. Prove it through focus. Through how little you're shaken by noise. Through how deeply you listen without letting the outside world pull you off your mission. That's rare. That's power with balance. Be the type of person whose energy calms a room, but whose focus builds empires. You don't need to dominate the space. You just need to own your direction. And when people feel that quiet fire in you, they'll respect you more than someone who's loud and scattered. Show up focused. Show up kind. That's real mastery. Your focus is your foundation. Protect it fiercely. And let your presence be soft enough to inspire, strong enough to lead, and calm enough to endure. Because when you're ruthless with your purpose and gentle with your soul, you don't just chase goals. You walk like a storm no one saw coming. Power isn't about how loud your voice is. It's about how deep your presence is. The strongest ones walk in silence, not because they lack something to say, but because they've already become what others are trying to prove. You don't need to declare your strength when it shows in how you carry yourself. Real power doesn't talk. It moves. People talk when they're unsure. They over-explain. They seek validation. But when you know who you are and what you're building, your silence becomes your signature. You stop announcing your goals. You just become them. Power isn't about saying, "I'm strong." It's about walking so steady that the world already knows. A lion doesn't tell you it's a lion. It just moves, and everything around it adjusts. Be like that. Let your focus, your actions, and your results do the speaking. The more you become, the less you need to prove. That's when you shift from chasing power to embodying it. Real power is felt, not heard. When you walk into a room, people can feel it. Your stillness, your discipline, your energy. You don't have to raise your voice. You don't have to compete. You've already won by becoming someone who doesn't flinch under pressure or fold under doubt. Don't confuse performance with strength. Power isn't about being seen. It's about being unshakable. You gain it by showing up when it's hard, by doing the work when it's boring, by staying consistent when no one is watching. Over time, that quiet consistency becomes unbreakable confidence. You don't get powerful by talking about change. You get powerful by choosing it again and again, even when it's not easy. Most people stop at words, but you finish with actions. And over time, people stop asking what you're about. They just feel it, because you are the proof. Let others brag. Let them show off. You stay grounded. Every moment you spend talking about your power is a moment you could spend building it. So dig deeper, train harder, think clearer, because real power doesn't compete. It creates. Power is in restraint, in knowing you could respond, but choosing silence, in knowing you could dominate, but choosing discipline. People think power is about being the loudest in the room, but it's the one who says nothing, does everything, and stays calm. That's the one they fear and follow. Don't chase power for the sake of being powerful. Chase excellence. Power will come naturally. When your mind is sharp, your habits are clean, and your soul is steady, you become untouchable, not through ego, but through elevation. That kind of power never needs to speak. It transforms by presence alone. The world teaches you to impress, to shout, to perform. But your greatest strength will come when you learn to keep building in silence. When you stop updating people on your progress and start surprising them with your results. Because the most dangerous man is the one no one sees coming. When you become power, it's not a costume. It's your second skin. It shows in how you breathe, how you listen, how you make decisions under pressure. You don't chase approval. You don't demand respect. You earn it every single day by showing up and outlasting. So stop saying you're strong. Be strong. Stop preaching potential. Become undeniable. Let your transformation speak louder than your words ever could. Because when you stop speaking power and start becoming it, you don't rise for attention. You rise because nothing can hold you down. The loudest voice in the room is not always the strongest. Power does not beg. It does not chase. It becomes. So become the kind of person who doesn't need to say a word to be respected. Let your actions speak. Let your discipline echo. Let your silence carry more force than noise ever could. I built myself quietly, in the dark, in the discomfort, in the discipline. And that is why I could not be shaken. You don't need to prove your worth. You need to build it. So walk your path, stay silent, stay sharp, and when the world sees what you become, they will understand. Greatness is never loud. It is focused.